Do we really need an introduction for someone that is so well known? Nah, I'll just play it. What's good, y'all? Welcome back. And yeah, that's the last time I ever say what I'm gonna be doing. You know, because like, bro, be for real. Like, how long? 2 weeks is my last, bro. My claims about how I'm going to like. Also, sorry in advance for any background like noise you might hear, but yeah, I've kind of, I don't know, a lot of stuff going around me. But look, I don't know what I was talking about. Like, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna come back and drop peak every week or something. I don't even know what I said, but yeah, I was capped. And basically, yeah, it's been 2 weeks since my last video. I think I like perfectly timing this. And even in the process of recording this was low-key like a random record. I've been kind of busy, so yeah, it's kind of my justification for being gone for like almost a month. But yeah, anyways, if you guys do enjoy the video, please really will like, comment, share, and subscribe. You know, the regular YouTube nonsense that most YouTubers say. And yeah, so without further ado, let's get into today's video topic, which is Zara, Malik versus Tory, Nichols. Now, Zara is a new character to Cobra Kai, and her scaling all comes from season 6 part 2. So I think it should go without saying that any version of Tory prior to this season would not have any chance of beating this version of Zara, as even in early season of this very season 6, Zara was pretty much handling Tory pretty confidently. Tory was pretty sure she could take Zara. Zara just like no dips her and just puts her on the ground and then just tells her welcome to, Barcelona. And I'm not going to finish the rest of that for YouTube reasons. But yeah, she kind of just bodies her, and it's pretty evident like Zara's just way above her at first. Now, to really scale these two, or to really, answer the question of who would really win in a fight, you kind of got to look at a couple other outliers. Now, in this personal season, I don't know, like you could argue that Sam gets amped later, and like I'll get into Sam versus Tory or Sam versus Zara later in like another video, of course. But just coming out like right now, Sam scaling is just weird. So in this season, I don't really know if Sam would scale to, like Tory or Zara, just coming right off the top of my brain or just based off what I've seen. And basically what I'm trying to get at here is that Zara and Tory are, though, implied to just be the two best females in this season. It's not really questionable. When Tory's able to kick like the other girl from, I don't really remember what dojo it's from, but kicked her, she knocked her tooth out, and kind of just implied that Tory's just stepped her game up when she stopped worrying about Robbie or whatever. Now, you might want to argue that, she got amped at the end, which I do agree with. So yeah, there is that, and I'll talk about it in a second. But here's the thing that I think a lot of people forget about Tory getting amped and performing pretty good against Zara at one point. Like, yeah, she performed pretty good against Zara and like at 1v1 at first, but people really do tend to forget what happened at the end of that fight. Kind of like Zara just started kind of getting the advantage on Tory and was just kind of mollywhopping the living crap out of her, and then like Robbie just comes out of nowhere and just saves her. And yeah, I do understand at one point Zara was 2v like wanting Tory at one point, but like let's be real here, when it got into that 1v1 situation, Zara was just low-key like bodying Tory again. And I mean, the season itself has been kind of like implying that Zara is like at the top of all females. And like, I know that's, you could just argue that that's like prior to that Tory amp or whatever, but you got to understand the events that I'm talking about that take place are after Tory's subsequent amp. And a lot of people might like to argue that, I don't know, Tory was somewhat nerfed due to the fact that she was struggling to be friends with Sam or something. I don't know. I don't really think that's the case. And even if you want to argue that, she locked in after really Robbie. So I don't really think these are fair arguments. I don't really think that the amp Tory that we saw is really beating a Zara, who I saw beating her. And yes, I do understand she was getting 2v at one point and we're playing for it well. But these two things are not synonymous. Now, with comparing the two of them like directly to each other, or based off what we've seen, we got to see Zara perform just very well against a lot of people, and we got to see Tory perform well against a lot of people. And there is also the Kim statement that I know a couple people like to like misinterpret or think that this would just automatically like put like Tory above Zara. She's like, Kim is like, oh, well, she uses her speed and power to fight well. And then, she's like, oh, well, I don't really think that, Zara, has ever broken stone with her bare fist, right? So that's what Kim says. But I don't really think this means anything, because even if you say like Tory has better AP, this is literally what Kim is also admitting in the same phrase, that Zara uses her speed as to make up for not having the power. So it doesn't necessarily matter. She's still faster. And like I said before, Zara just straight up beats her. And I know I do tend to say a lot of the times in like situations, it doesn't always matter like what happens, but like I will say this though, people who try to say Tory is not extreme diff for Zara is just crazy. Or if they try to say like Tory is in extreme diff for Zara, if they do believe Tory was better because at one point she was getting 2V'd. And yes, at that end of the fight, you can argue that, yeah, it was just a lot of stuff going on at one time. And so there was a lot of stuff going on. But yeah, the ultimate scaling line that I just perfectly see is, yeah, Zara just no diffed her at the beginning of the season. So she was really not close at all. But once she really got to this amp, and there's really not that much other stuff to go off of. Like, I mean, aside of like Tory making statements and saying stuff like, yeah, I'm pretty sure that, you know, I'll kick you and leave you on the ground. Like, but this is just confidence talk. It's like, I mean, maybe you could argue that Tory got better after the training that she went through with Kreese, or maybe she got even more amped or something. But like, I don't know. I don't really think that's fair. And like I just said, Kim's feat, or well, quote unquote statement, is not really valid. It doesn't really back up anything, because she's literally like low-key like debunking her own statement. Like, just because Tory is more powerful, it definitely doesn't mean Zara would lose, because we literally see once again Zara beating her and Robbie having to come and help her. And the thing is like, many people argue that maybe Tory, you know, he might have still won this, but yeah, I mean, she was getting beat pretty badly at this point. And then they like kind of start like 2v1ing Zara. I mean, I think she has some help there, but come on, it's just so random kind of. And so it's really just like 2v1. You know, you gotta remember these types of things. Like, when a superior fighter is fighting two superior fighters, it really get really interesting and whatnot. And so yeah, I think this is all very true. And there's also the last argument that I want to discuss before ending this video. You can just make the argument that Zara is relative to Axel, is they're the top two students of the Iron Dragon dojo. So if you just want to argue that they're relative, we see that Axel could like subsequently just kind of body like Robbie, and like could just handle like Miguel and Quan, and you know, just kind of like you know, no diff them to some degrees. And like, as far as season 2 part 2 is concerned, I just don't think any of them scale to Axel yet. And although Robbie does have some really good defensive scaling, like he can defend against Axel, which would, and in my personal opinion, put like Robbie like above everyone that's not like named Axel, literally, because yeah, he literally can defend him perfectly. Like, Axel's even like, oh, so you want to keep defending, you don't want to offend, and you know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, he's really aware that his defense is on his level. So yeah, there's that. But as far as offense is concerned, you know, they're just not relative at all. And yeah, he just got body. So yeah, and I mean, since you need both, you know, Axel's defense is just perfect, and so is his offense. Like, maybe they're 10 out of 10. So I would genuinely just say, like, you know, get no diff. And yeah, that's kind of what's going to happen there. Robbie will still get no diff, but his defense is relative to him. Like, you know, it's kind of consistent, I would say. Like, and like I said, if you want to just argue that Zara is just the top because she's literally not been beat, and that's another thing I want to argue. Zara's technically on like screen never been beaten once. Like, Robbie throwing her away from like Tory, that wasn't a defeat. That was just him, you know, kind of like, I guess you could say, battlefield removing, you know, her from like Tory. That's not really a beating Zara, quote unquote. So there's no one that's really actually beat her yet. So as far as I'm concerned, you can just argue the Axel scaling, although I'm not going to argue that Zara is relative to Axel, because she's still struggling with, like, I mean, she's clearly struggling with Tory, and I clearly don't think Tory is going to beat Axel. So I mean, yeah. And I mean, if you want to say Tory and Robbie are relative because they were at the end of season 6 part 1, I mean, then yeah, I mean, you really could just say Axel and like Zara are relative, and then if that's the case, then yeah, I don't really know what you would argue there. Yeah, I just think Zara is just beating Tory. Extreme def, I will say that. But yeah, she's definitely winning this fight. And yeah, now a lot of people might just argue that, yeah, we already knew this, you didn't even need to make this video. But I feel like a lot of people think Tory was stronger than her at the end. And well, okay, I don't really want to argue stronger, but better fighter. Like, Zara is just the better fighter, and that's what's more important. She's better. You know, she beat her. So yeah, and then like people try to argue that Tory, the 1v, it's just not accurate. She was welling, and then Robbie saved. So yeah, Zara definitely above, and just the implications of being top 2 at Iron Dragons. And we know that like Axel has not been surpassed, so you could argue that Zara is just the same weight class. Like, she's also just not been surpassed. But yeah, that's what I'll say. If you guys enjoyed the video, please sure leave a like, comment, subscribe. I kind of just made this out of nowhere because I finally decided to scale it and, you know, just make it. Now, I don't really know if this video is coming out the same day that I posted, but if it does, it's kind of late. And as the recording goes, wouldn't be surprised if the video doesn't come out kind of late, because I have to, you know, still do all the other things like edit and, you know, get things and whatnot. So yeah, we'll see what happens with all that. But you guys enjoyed the video, please sure to do everything I said, and hope you guys have a Merry Christmas. As I'm saying this in this video because I genuinely do not know if I will make another video before Christmas, so yeah, I'll try to, but there's no guarantees. Plus, I tried to upload every 3 days, so when this video comes out, you know, in 3 days, we'll see if that even happens, or you know, that posting schedule even comes to fruition. But yeah, thank you guys for all the support. Thanks for all the love in the previous videos. Hope you guys have a great day wherever you are, whatever you watch this, whatever you do. And I can never say this enough, never be said this enough. Thank you, and I am out. The GOAT Corey drop videos. Watch them. Corey Kinchin, random shout out. I'm out. Have a nice day, guys.